Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited for you to meet a friend, somebody that's doing great things for her school district in Texas. Today, you're going to meet Jennifer Salyards. She is Director of Communications in Stephenville ISD in Texas, a district of about 3,500 students. You're going to learn about her journey into this role, which is only about 14 months in. Okay, she went in as a teacher, did years of assistant principal and then principal, and now director of communications. She's going to kind of share her approach to getting started. We're going to talk about really engaging things that have worked for her. And then she's going to share some of her experience in our membership group, which is our paid community that does trainings each and every week, has a whole bunch of resources, and she's going to just share a little bit. But I'm telling you, listening in on Jennifer, she is one of the most authentic and real people. You guys, she was so nervous for this interview. It's funny. Most people like start to not be as nervous once they get talking with me because it's just a conversation. But she was really nervous. And you guys, she's doing great, great things. So I'm so excited for you to learn from her. She's also going to share a few specific stories that have been some of her favorite to share. And you're not going to want to miss her tip at the end because it is a good one and it may be the tip that transforms everything for you. Now, before we get into this week's K-12 PR tip, I just wanted to remind you that I wrote a book called Social Media for Schools. It was released in the spring of 2023. Very, very timely still for you to set up the right systems in social media. And I was teasing Jennifer in the episode, like, hey, I don't know everything about social media. And she holds up the book. She's like, you literally wrote the book. But I'm friends with a lot of people that have done a lot of great things in social media and schools. And so I just want to invite you to order that book now. It's available out on Amazon. You can learn a little bit more on my website. But one recent review said, a 5-star review said, it's like the AP guide to social media. If this is your job, this is your book. This book gives you real experiences and suggestions and breaks it into usable advice. If you are just starting or a seasoned veteran, there is something in here for you. Thank you so much, Amazon customer. It didn't give a name, but certified purchase there. And just want to share that. I hope that if you haven't grabbed your copy, this isn't a read once and you're done. This is a book that can be your guide on an ongoing basis in celebrating your school on social media. So now let's jump into this week's K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip is just something that I picked up from watching an Instagram reel little tutorial. There's filters within Instagram reels that will turn your photos into a reel. And the one that I learned about was a filter called Polaroid by Fran. It's got a little turquoise background, a little bit, and basically just turns some movement into your picture. There'll be background, and then the Polaroid will come with your regular picture. I want you to try it out. If you've got a great picture and are just thinking, hey, we could actually turn this into a reel, you could add some music to it too. You could actually add some text. Polaroid by Fran. And just want to encourage you, if you have some images or other ways that you want to make your content pop, don't be afraid to try some of those filters. Sometimes it's a really unique way to give a unique look. And sometimes you have to take a little bit of time to figure some of those things out. That is something that we spend a lot of time in our membership group kind of chatting and sharing about. But you can certainly do it by following other influencers out there. But the filter, so you go into Instagram, you say you're going to create a reel, you pick a picture, and then you go to filters, okay? And you're going to search for Polaroid by Fran. 3 words, Polaroid by Fran, and you're going to use it. And if you do and create something pretty cool, I want you to send it to me. All right. That's this week's K-12 PR tip. Now you're going to get a whole bunch of tips from this week's guests. Let's get started. Welcome to the podcast, Miss Jennifer Salyards. How are you?
Woo! How fun. This is my favorite day ever.
This is good. We were both putting on our lipstick before we
We
got
did.
started. Well, I don't really
Hmm.
wear lipstick. I just wear lip gloss, I guess. But
Oh, I'm a gloss girl. I
okay.
like it to sparkle and shine.
Yeah, well, you're from Texas. I mean, you should like to sparkle and
Yep.
shine, right?
Yep. It comes with the territory.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, share some of your
Mm.
background, and then your
Hmm.
role as Director of Communications there in Stephenville ISD.
Yeah, so I'm Jennifer Salyards. I'm the Director of Communications in Stephenville ISD, and I think I've been on this job 14 months. So prior to that, I was an elementary school principal, and I like to say that I'm a recovering elementary school principal because I think once you've served in that role, you're kind of always part. That's kind of always part of who you are. So gosh, I taught for 8 years and was an assistant principal and then principal in several different districts throughout the state of Texas. So I started my teaching career in Lubbock, Texas. I'm a proud Texas Tech graduate and I got my master's from there as well. And then my husband and I moved to the Fort Worth area and I worked in Birdville ISD as an assistant principal and principal. And then we just were really looking for small town living. And I'd grown up in a small town and loved the camaraderie of, excuse me, of just a small town and knowing everyone and those sorts of things we found when we were in the Metroplex in the Fort Worth area that we lived, worked, and worshiped all within like a 15-minute radius, but we never saw the same people in our circles. So we were just craving kind of a smaller town feel, and this position opened, or the position of principal opened up, and we jumped on it. So it was never looked back.
How many years were your principal there then?
Gosh, principal in Stephenville, 9 years.
9 years. Okay. And then
Mm-hmm.
just 14 months ago, you transitioned into the Director of Communications role.
Yeah,
Did they have that role before you took it?
they did not, and it was something that my former superintendent and I visited about prior to making the transition, and then he left the district and went into higher ed. Our new superintendent immediately saw the need for that, and also had the support of our school board to just bring a storyteller into our fold. And so the exciting part was my campus was doing a really good job of that. And I credit the people that worked in my school for kind of giving me the I guess the spurring me on into that kind of position because they were great storytellers. They were doing excellent things in their classrooms. They were quick to make sure people knew about it. And when I first started in Stephenville, I knew that being in a small town that people were going to talk. And so one of the things that I said to my staff right away was, let's give them something good to talk about. And that was kind of our mantra that we carried there at our campus for several years. One of the benefits, and I'll say this because I think it's important to note, is that I was the principal of a first and second grade campus.
Okay.
So in Stephenville, our grade configuration is very different. We have a pre-K kinder campus, then a first, second, a third, fourth, a fifth, sixth, and then our junior high and high school. So 6 different campuses, but we all serve all kids. So whatever our grade level is. Well, if you are the principal at the first and second grade school, that parents are still highly involved in their kids' day-to-day activities. They still want to know so much from their teachers. So not that our other campuses were not doing a great job of that, but just as the nature of the beast with parents of little kids, they were still very involved. So they were going to talk, and we needed to make sure that the stories were the good ones. We kind of lived by that idea of, bad things are going to happen. There's always going to be a situation where someone, something unfriendly or kind happens in the cafeteria, or a teacher makes a mistake, or we don't communicate something well from the office that happens on the campus and parents missed an event or something like that. So those types of things are going to happen. But if we have filled a parent bucket with the good intentions that we have of our campus, of them knowing that we believe in their kids and that they can trust us when those bad things happen, they outweigh the good still outweighs that, that negative.
Yeah, and that let's give them something to talk about. Obviously, Bonnie Raitt, I think, sings that song.
I mean, we should play. Why didn't I have that queued up?
Yeah,
Totally should have played it.
but I
This would have
have
made the
that.
podcast so much better, Andrea. I'm
I
sorry I failed
know.
you.
Let's give them something to
There we
talk
go.
about. I like to sing. So,
Yeah.
but that's a slide in my deck when I share with social media ambassadors kind of across the country, at these schools is people are going to talk, like you said. So let's give them something positive. And social media is actually a free platform to be able to do that. Obviously, you're communicating out in a lot of different ways. But so you say this is Stephenville is a small
Hmm.
town. Okay.
Hmm.
You've actually been in my small town, Jennifer.
Oh, that's true.
500 people, no stoplights up here in Wisconsin in New Auburn. So tell me exactly how big is Stephenville or how many students you serve?
So our town population is 20,000, but we also have
Okay.
a D1 university. So when the university's in session, our population almost doubles.
Okay.
And we serve 3,500 students.
Okay.
Yeah.
3,500 students. I love that.
Ish.
Yeah. I love that your district saw a need for this
Mm,
storyteller role, this director of communications.
hmm.
And way to go to step into it. And you've only been at it
Thanks.
14 months.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that transition. Just
Hmm.
how has that gone? Maybe a little bit of the highs and lows of kind of trying, because I'm sure there's people listening that have also transitioned from either the classroom or a
Sure.
leadership role, and now you're in director of communications. Um, can you share any tips or tricks that you kind of had to learn?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, it was nice just to already have the relationships with the other district administrators. Coming from my role as a principal, that was it was a smooth transition as far as the relationships are concerned. I will say that meeting and getting to know teachers at other campuses took some time, and I'm still working on that. Um, on any campus, I know that there's classrooms that I can go into right away, and the teachers there will immediately know which kids can be photographed, immediately know which ones can give me a good story. And so that's exciting, but I really strive to get to know more teachers, so I'm not always going to those same ones. Um, I would say so that's been a learning curve. I
Okay.
knew my campus really well, but then getting to know the other five campuses.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I had the opportunity to visit with our CTE staff at the high school. And I will tell you, when I started that meeting, I admitted to them that I was so nervous. I was like, I have armpit sweat. I'm so nervous to talk to high school teachers because other than my own kids being in their classes, I just I just don't feel as comfortable around those secondary teachers as I do with elementary. And I guess that's just my 26-year, career in elementary. But they were really sweet, and they were like, "Well, just don't read our facial expressions because we look like this all the time." Like, okay, I'm super expressive. Like, I am looking for your face to know if I'm doing a good job or not. So somebody in here's got to tell me.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So tell me how social media fits in your
Mhm.
role. 3,500 students, 6 campuses. Like, how do you set up social media, and then what are you responsible for?
Yeah, when I was just running one campus site, I thought, oh, this is a piece of cake. It's no big deal. We'll just post the important information. We'll make sure that that we've got great pictures of our kids and tell the parents when they can be here and how to proceed through the building safely and those sorts of things. Running six campus pages, and a district page. So I, our each of our campus principals are still responsible for their campus page, and I am ultimately responsible for a district page, but I oversee their pages as well. So I'm watching comments for them. I'm, responding if someone needs, if a parent has a question and they need help right away, I try and respond to those, or at least get that to the principal's attention so that they can respond. um, watching comments for anything inappropriate that needs to be dealt with right away. Um, go back to your question. What did you ask me?
Well, is it just Facebook that you're mainly running, like the
Oh,
campuses
thanks.
or
Yeah, Facebook for the campuses in the district, and then we have an district Instagram page. Our
okay.
high school also has an Instagram page that they post like their announcements and really more student centered content for them, like the dress up, special dress up days and when athletic events are and stuff like that. It's more like a news site for them, but
Okay.
the students really do follow that page and
Okay.
look to that for information. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So you are a part of our social school for EDU membership group,
I
and I
am.
don't know how soon you joined the membership group after you got your job, but
Mhm.
can you tell just listeners how this program has helped you in your role?
Yeah, absolutely. I attended a couple of webinars, your free webinars that you had before I became a member. And then I want to say it was late in the fall, maybe last October, November, maybe it was November, December, whenever you did a discount for the remainder of the year, like a 6 month membership or whatever. And I thought, well, I've learned so much from these free events. I'm going to go on and jump in, and my executive director supported that. He, of course, wanted me to have as much support as possible, being in a department of one. So he was like, yeah, go for it. And I thought, oh, I'll just, I'll do the 6 month membership. I'll learn the things and then we won't need to spend that money next year. Totally changed my life. Like just being part of the group to know that there are other folks that do the same job as me. That I can go to with a really technical question or a philosophical question, and we're going to have answers right away. That I certainly appreciate the support from you and those that are part of your organization, but then the group really is where the power is, just in having so many folks that will help and will reach out right away. So yeah, it was instrumental, and uh, I don't know what other states are dealing with, but in Texas, we are really watching our budgets closely and praying and hoping that our legislators and our state decides to fund public education appropriately, like they should. But in the meantime, that means our budgets are cut, and this was one area that it really wouldn't matter what else. If I only had that amount of money in my budget, I would be part of the membership group. So
Yeah.
that's how important it is to me.
And you some people listening are solo people like you, and they're just
Mm.
like, I have so much on my plate. There's no way that I could devote, time to, this membership group. It's an online group. It's in a Facebook, we've got online resources, we've got live trainings happening each week. What would you say to somebody that says, I just don't have time for that?
Yeah, you're probably right. You don't have time for it, but you also don't have time to not do it. I I just look at the events that are scheduled and I go ahead and put them on my calendar. If something pops up like an emergency that I'm responding to right away, or a meeting that a face-to-face meeting here at the district level that I need to be a part of, then I know I can always go back and watch the recording. And gosh, we all have an hour at some point or 30 minutes at some point that you can jump on and watch one of the recorded episodes just to learn and improve our craft. I'm gonna cough, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay.
I do know that when I was a building principal, it was super important to me for my teachers to see other teachers teaching, like for them to spend time in the classrooms of other people. For it doesn't matter if you're a brand new teacher or a seasoned teacher. Anytime you watch someone else doing your craft, you grow your craft. And so that's what the membership group is to me. And the time that that I spend in it is definitely valuable. Um, I don't think there's been a day yet that I haven't gone to the group for something, like either to the Canva directory or to the resources page, or just, scrolling through some of the comments. If I have a question, like putting in a search about it and finding those answers already there in the membership group. So I would imagine I'm going to say almost every single day, if not every single day, I've done something in the group.
That's awesome. And I know your face, Jennifer. You show up on some of the live things. You've been to one of my retreats in person, but it's funny when I go and speak across the country and I'll chat with somebody who's in the membership group. I don't really recognize them. I haven't seen them live, but they'll say the same thing. Like, I use that group every day. Like, it helps
Mhm.
me. And I think, for as much time as it takes, it also saves you time because of all the inspiration. And I can honestly say that it is my secret weapon because I don't know everything about social media either. But together we do. And you've really been able to take advantage of what you've learned. Oh, the book.
You have a whole book about it. What do you mean you don't know everything? Like you literally authored an entire book.
Yeah, but that book, Jennifer, has like over 50 stories from across the country of people
Okay.
doing great things in their school. So I'm really good at making friends with smart people and I'm learning from them every single day, which is really powerful. Very, very thankful. But what I really love, Jennifer, is people like you who take action on what you learn. And we know that engagement is key, right? Engagement on social media is going to get you more eyeballs. And so you've had a few really successful posts recently. Can you kind of share
Mhm.
with me and the listeners of, what are some really engaging posts that you've been able to share on your pages?
Yeah, I was hesitant to do Throwback Thursdays. I'll tell you that. I just wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I see them and I'm like, yeah, big deal. I kind of just scroll past throwback posts unless it's someone that I know personally and I'm like, oh gosh, look at them from the 80s or whatever. Look at that hair. Or I don't know. Throwback posts just didn't ever stick with me. But watching in the membership group and hearing you talk about the engagement that occurs with that, I did my first Throwback Thursday post this year. I'm pulling it up on the other screen. Sorry.
That's okay.
Um, and it had, where's my mouse? It disappeared. Um, there it is. So 285 comments and
What?
449 likes for my very first Throwback Thursday.
So this was
So
picture of an old yearbook. Describe what the picture was.
it was totally just the colored screen. Throwback Thursday, Stephenville alumni, we want to hear from you. Comment with your graduation year. That was it.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
almost like our alumni roll call that
Yes.
we sometimes suggest people to do around graduation, but you
Mhm.
just did it around a Throwback Thursday. What year did you graduate and you got that many?
285. Then the next week, I started our pictures from the yearbooks. So I did that for several weeks in a row, leading up to um, a special post for us soliciting nominations for our distinguished alumni. So in the past, we have awarded distinguished alumni every other year. That's kind of the pattern that our district takes with that. And this is a year that we're going to honor distinguished alumni. We just really wanted to get additional um, nominations for that. So we have, just a wide group to choose those alumni from. So it
That's
really did boost that engagement. And I haven't checked with our teacher that is in charge of the Distinguished Alumni program to see if she has more nominations, but I mean, I would imagine that she does just because we've kind of increased that reach with our alumni.
yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And then
The the other big post that we did this year was that first day of school post. So I was again, I was hesitant on opening that up for parents to be able to comment with their pictures. And I um, I talked to my director, my executive director about that. And he also was hesitant. He kind of did a similar job in a different district previously. He was like, gosh, I don't know about opening up our Facebook to just allowing anyone to post pictures. He said, you're gonna have to watch it so closely all day. And I already knew I was gonna have to do that. But we threw it out there. We had 341 comments of pictures from people's first day of school, 11 shares on that post, and they were all just precious, like exactly what they needed to be. There was only one picture in that out of the 341 that was actually from a neighboring school district instead of our district, but they threw their first day of school picture up there too, and we just left it. So,
Yeah.
yep, they
If
had their
that's
first day of school as well. It was on our page. Whatever,
if
it's
it's the
fine.
worst that can happen, then that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So tell me about both of those hesitancies. You were
Mhm.
hesitant about Throwback Thursday. You were hesitant about the first day of school, and like what helped you overcome that hesitancy?
Just seeing in the membership group the engagement that others had experienced with it. I think knowing that, especially with the Throwback Thursdays, like knowing the level of engagement that those were getting in other places, like why wouldn't that be true for us? Just because it didn't spark my interest doesn't mean it's not very interesting to other people. So doing that and then seeing our community really rally around those was exciting. The for the first day of school one, the hesitancy was eliminated whenever you just very clearly explained how to turn the comments on for pictures, how to turn them back off. I knew that I could follow that step-by-step instruction. I knew that I had the policies in place to hide a picture if one came in that was inappropriate. I could just quickly take care of that. And so knowing that I had the skills to manage that well because of what I learned in the membership group really helped to eliminate that hesitancy.
Yeah, awesome. And that engagement helps all of your posts by seeing, be seen by
Absolutely.
more people. So,
Yeah.
how do you do kind of all the things? Because you're a department of one. And so in these last 14 months, you must have
Mhm.
created some systems that have helped you not only manage social media, but manage, all the
Mhm.
other communication responsibilities in your role. So can you kind of share how you've approached that?
Oh, wow. I think that's an area that I still am learning and growing every day. So last year, I really relied upon campus calendars, upon meetings with principals. We have a we meet every other week as an admin team. So hearing them just kind of voice what's going on their campuses and being part of the district for as long as I was, I kind of knew the pattern of how things were going to progress. So I just relied upon that personal experience and then the words from them and their calendars. Well, this year, I reluctantly, so I'm talking about how hesitant and reluctant I was. It makes me sound like I'm not willing to just jump. I am. I'm a jumper. Like
Yeah,
I will do things, but
I know you are, Jennifer, but you know what? Every person listening is relating so well to you because we all kind of have that inner doubt, like, oh my gosh, is this gonna work or whatever. And so I think it makes you more relatable. So I appreciate
okay.
it.
So, but remember, I jumped into the lake at your house,
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
think I was one of the only ones that did the lake jump.
Yes,
So
good
I
job.
am a jumper, Andrea.
Yes, you
Okay.
are.
Um, so I don't even remember where I was going. I'm a terrible guest. Like, what are we even talking about?
So you talked about year one, you relied on those campus calendars. And now this year, you're trying to do some,
Thank you.
yes.
So, a true like Google form for teachers to submit content. And when I recognized that that was a need, I had the one of our great fifth grade science teachers. She texted me and she was like, "Hey, I have all of these really cool pictures from a science experiment that we did, and I just don't know how to get them to you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, if she doesn't know how to get them to me, no one knows how to get them to me. So I've got to create a system that's going to work for everyone, but then also knowing, and I love the heart of a teacher. I know how busy they are. They're my favorite humans on the planet. Just they work so hard and they love so big, and I knew that it had to be easy for them. Like they cannot do some complicated system. They don't have time for that. They have enough going on, and I should be the least of their worries. So, really, just making a form that is simple enough for them to fill out quickly from any device. We're iPad district. We're one-to-one for our students, and all of our teachers have an iPad. They all have a MacBook, and then everybody has a phone. So just making sure that I had a system that would work with any device that they had in their hand and could quickly get me that information, but then also giving me enough details that I could actually make a story of it.
Yeah. So where do they access that form? Do you have a QR
I
code
don't
out or?
know. I don't know. I'm in the process. Like literally, this is I'm developing that right now. So
Okay.
what others in the membership group have done is a QR code, and they've put it on a sticker that they can stick on their laptop, or they've printed signs that they hang around in the on the campus. But that is my fall goal for this year, to make sure that that is done.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you've got five different ways to submit content, I think that makes it more complicated. So you're trying to definitely streamline it. I know some people in the membership group now have done like almost a business card that can go behind their badge, like if they're wearing their
Yeah.
badge,
Yeah.
and because you
like
always got to
most of
have
ours
that.
have most of ours have their badge, and then like right now we keep our emergency card in
Okay.
the back of ours. But yeah, having it even in there, it doesn't even have to be visible. They can just quickly pull it out and be great. So
Right, exactly. And then you also talked about having some meetings. You're kind of working on some meetings, and can you
mhm.
with your campus? So tell me about that.
Yeah, just getting face to face with those teachers. I definitely want to spend some time in small groups, because I think that, if you go into a faculty meeting or try to send out a group email or whatever, that can kind of just get lost. But spending time in small groups, talking to them about the good work that they're doing in their classrooms, and making sure that teachers are aware that their story is the one that we want to tell. There's something good in every single room. And gosh, with the number of classrooms that we have, if I had one story per class per year, it'd cover all my content
Right.
for the whole year.
Yeah.
Like they have important things to share, and our community wants to know what's going on. They want to see those. I mean, they love a picture of a little kindergartner carrying the trays to the return, the tray
Lunchroom.
return
Yeah.
station in the lunchroom. Like they love all the stuff. Like, let's just give it to them.
Right. Yeah.
So
And we all have phones, like you said, and just
yeah.
snapping those pictures. I that's just kind of the second time you really mentioned relationships, and
Mm,
that is the key. It's all about those relationships. And would we love to get content from all the staff? Yes, but if you can build a few key relationships at each building, and
mhm.
they can on a monthly basis get you content, you're gonna have a lot of great stories to tell. And of course, you're going out to the campuses as well. Jennifer, can you share some of your favorite stories that you've been able to share in your
Mhm.
14 months on the job?
Mhm.
Maybe there's one or two that really stick out, that it was just like that was a story that needed to be told, whether or not it got a ton of engagement or not. Can you share a story or two?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that really come to mind right away. We have school resource officers, like most districts do now, and one of our new resource officers last year just had this great idea that he wanted to have a contest, a student contest, for a design for a wrap of their vehicle. So, and we have three resource officers, so that means three ISD police vehicles. And so we held this contest, and I thought, gosh, I'm not sure. What if we have some stick figure drawing that's turned in, and that's what wins the contest? Like, do I really want this real kind of not professional looking wrap driving around representing our brand? But our kids did an amazing job. They really came up with some excellent ideas. We used our logos, and um, definitely our branded colors, and we ended up combining several different designs from the students. They all happened to be junior high students at the time. They were eighth graders. And then the wrap company like put together a rendering of, okay, here's Hannah's piece, and here's so all of these different designs came together into our wrap, and then celebrated that design with when it was actually on the vehicle, had a big program, announced them, and they had their picture made. The newspaper was here, and when we see those cars out driving around or out in front of our campuses, it just is, it's a really neat way to celebrate the blue and gold and that partnership with the city, with our SROs, and then the great work that our students did. So that's one of my favorite
Okay,
stories.
we're gonna have to get the link to that one because I know people
Okay.
are gonna want to see.
Okay, sure.
Because
Oh,
I
and then they won a contest. Like
yeah,
the not just the students, but the actual police vehicle won a contest of other police vehicles. So it was really very cool.
yeah, as much as you can include students, right? And they will amaze you. I think you can always, I mean, gut feel is like, oh gosh, what are they going to submit? Is it not going to be good enough? Is it going to be inappropriate? If you can push them in the right direction, I think they're going to pleasantly supersede your expectations.
Yeah, and I credit our teachers for that, just having a great fine arts program and the encouragement that our art teachers did, especially with those eighth graders to push them to make some designs that were obviously that were winning designs and
Yeah,
could go together to make something really special. So
that's awesome. Do you have one
yeah.
other favorite story that you can think
Mm.
of?
I think oh gosh, I don't know, it make me narrow it down to two.
Or if
Um,
you've got a couple, that's okay.
so another story that was really cool, and it just kind of fell in our laps. We didn't know that this was going on, but we had some Girl Scouts that saw a need at one of our bus stops that was not covered. It was just kind of a bus stop in the middle of an area where several homes come together. And they noticed that their peers were kind of struggling at that bus stop in bad weather or whatever. And so they decided to take it upon themselves to create a covered structure for the bus stop. Well, one of our businesses locally here, Prime Metal Buildings, they got wind of that. They donated all the materials. They helped the girls come up with the work crew to actually do the metal installation, a nice cement pad for them to stand on in inclement weather. And it was just a really neat coming together of the community and of a service project that benefited our district and our kids in a special way. So
So, yeah, if I can get a link to that. And was that just
will do.
pictures? Did you do a video? How did you
Yeah, it
share
was
that
just
story?
pictures.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And that's what's powerful. I mean, one of the things that I often teach is stop overthinking it. Like if we all had, 27 hours in our day, those extra 3 hours, we could create the most beautiful videos and the most elaborate, whatever. We just don't have that time. And so sometimes snapping those photos, telling that story in words, is definitely enough, and it's going to help reach and make a big difference, not only for those people who are involved in the activity that kind of came up with the idea, but then for the community to be able to see that. I think
Mhm.
that's awesome. Is there one more story that you wanted to share?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. You're we'll link out to your social media, Facebook and Instagram page for the district. Just a quick question on those on your Facebook
Mhm.
page for your schools. Is there an expectation from them like, hey, we'd really like you to post, X amount of times a week? Or is that just really left up to the campus?
So currently there's not
Okay.
an expectation. And I think that, we just I do understand that pull for we're all kind of trying to search the same or engage with the same people, especially with our grade configuration the way it is. But our campuses do a good job of using that platform for information, and we all know that not every viewer is going to see every post that they make. So understanding that that's not the only way that they communicate that information, but parents are seeking that out from the campuses. So, and they're doing a great job of that. I don't know, we're just not at a point to make that change at this point, but
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe in the future.
And the change you're talking about is a lot of districts your size, we recommend, hey, have one district Facebook page. You don't need all
Yeah.
those separate ones. But if you've got it and people are using it, I mean, there's no need to necessarily shut that down. We don't want to silence any voices. But certainly having that strong district presence will help throughout, because hopefully your first graders become your high schoolers and your high schoolers
Right.
once were those first and second graders. As we
And
wrap
we
up,
are,
oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
we are making an effort to identify some of those pages that maybe it's a specific organization or a sport that doesn't post routinely or regularly, to kind of identify those and say, hey, do we need to sunset this, or is there some way that we can wrap this into either the campus page or a larger athletic page?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say as we wrap up, would you say is your best social media tip?
Yeah, I think that my best tip would to be where the action is. Like, there are no good stories in your office. Like, my office is super cute, but nobody cares. Like, there's no good stories going on in here except for maybe this podcast.
Right.
But the action is out there on the campuses. It's in classrooms, and it's at activities and events. And so be present, get out to campuses every day, at least for a little part of the day. Find those good stories, and even if you don't use it for that day, just it never hurts to have stock footage and good pictures in your system, so that you can use it whenever it maybe is a slow news day, or maybe you have a day where you were sick and had to stay home. Then at least you've got a picture from something that you collected previously. So
Yeah.
be where the action is.
Be where the action is. No good content comes from your office. I like that.
Not at all.
So Jennifer, what's the best way to stay connected to you if people want to reach out, ask questions, get inspiration?
I cannot imagine that anyone wants to reach out. But if you do, you can email me. You can text me. I don't know. You can use my Google form. I'll
So we'll
create it and I'll send it to you. I'm kidding. No, really, email is great.
Okay. And we'll include that in the show notes. It's jennifer.salyards@sville.us.
That's it.
And I'm not sure if you have messaging turned on, but on the district pages, I'm sure if it is, it
Yeah,
would
I do.
probably reach you. So
Yes.
check out her pages. Lots of great stories being shared. If you've been on the fence with the membership group, we'd love to have you there. Definitely great people like Jennifer there hanging out and sharing their ideas and struggles and, all of the things. But I really appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was so nervous, but I think it was okay.
It was very good, and you were so real, and that's what people appreciate. So, well, I wish you the best. I can't believe you've only been in this role for 14 months, and I'm sure you're still kind of establishing what you do and what you don't do. Sometimes you can get
Mm.
drawn into a lot of things. But you guys, if you are early on into your role with communications and you came from a teacher or principal or something, Jennifer's just one of the best, most authentic people you'd ever meet. And so I'm sure she would take the time to have a one-on-one conversation. So don't be afraid.
I would love
Oh,
that. I love people. I love friends. Let's be friends. Come on.
yes, definitely. Lots of fun to hang out with. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another fabulous guest. And until then, keep telling those stories and you look for them out of your office, not in it. Right, Jennifer?
That's right.
All
Be where
right.
the action is.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.